Hey there, YouTubers. I don't make these videos very often, but I thought I would make an exception here. This is an older shed that we put new siding on the house, and so I decided to take some of the extra boards left over from that project and reside the shed so it matches the house. And you can see I had to replace some of the trim boards up there because they had rotted. And then there's new trim boards on the corners there. I've already painted the ones where the door is going to go. And you can see I've got like a lip right in here. There's about a 1/2 inch of plywood sticking out, so I've got to accommodate for that when I make the door. But I want to make a nice double barn door, and instead of just using the T111 plywood like you see in most of the videos, we're going to do it just a little bit nicer. Okay, so here's a little preview what the finished door looks like. I've got the left side door made. I've already got the hinges mounted on it. Basically got some 1x4s for the framing, 1x6 tongue and groove car siding, and then you can see on this side we leave about a 1-inch lip right here, so that the other door has something to close against. And I will get into kind of fabricating the door. Okay, the way I made these frames, again, I just used some 1x4s, 3/4 inch boards. Tried to go through and pick some out that were fairly straight, which, as most of you know, can be hard to find, but these are fairly straight. And then I used this Kreg pocket screw system to drill the holes, so you got a little jig. And there's all kinds of YouTube videos, on how to do this. But basically, you clamp it to the board, you drill your pocket holes, and this is a 320 kit if you're interested. If you don't have one, they're about 45 bucks. Got this one on Amazon. And then for the 3/4 inch boards, you use their 1 1/4 inch screws, and I use the blue coated ones for exterior use. And just kind of go around. You can see, oh, the lights just went out in the garage. And this makes a really nice, I was going to glue it, but you know what? These make a nice tight joint, and by the time I screw the tongue and groove boards on the back, it's not going anywhere. And then I painted both sides black to match the trim on the little shed there in the house. I paint both sides. That hopefully will keep the boards from getting wet on one side and warping. Okay, so that's the frame. Okay, I've laid my frame on top of the boards, and a couple things I want to do here. I have to make sure I allow that 1/2 inch right here, because I got the same situation on both sides where I've got like a little bit of plywood sticking out, so this is the hinge side, so I got to bring that in a little bit, and then coming out of the other end here. So I got the same thing here. We got a 1/2 inch here, and then remember the other door had a lip on it, so I have to allow about 1 inch for that. So there we are for that. So I'm going to end up basically just cutting the tongue off the boards. And the other thing, you may not be able to tell, but since the opening was not square, rather than build the door crooked, I built the door square, and then I had to trim this board. It's about a 1/4 inch narrower at this end than it is at this end. So I'm going to scribe a line here on the top and the bottom, and then I'll bring that in about a 1/4 inch just to leave a little reveal on the back side when I cut all those boards off. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so we've completed the next step, which was to cut all these boards to length. And then I ripped, I don't know if you can see it here, I ripped the tongue off this one board. And then we've put the first coat of stain on the outside of the boards, making sure I get all the way into the little grooves, get the ends of the boards, the tongue. We want to make sure we get as much of that stain penetrating in all those little areas, which will hopefully prevent rot and minimize warping of the door once it's all put together. Okay, fastening the tongue and groove boards to the frame and making sure I got my little 1/2-inch reveal on this side, which is the hinge side, and I got a 1-inch reveal here to accommodate this lip on the other door. You can see down there I'm using a clamp to make sure the joints are pulled nice and tight together. And then while I was doing this, I stained the grooves there, make sure I got some stain down in there. So we'll finish screwing that and then put some stain on the back, and then this door will be done. Okay, this door is basically done. The tongue and groove boards are all screwed down to the frame. I've stained the back side, and just so you can kind of see what I did as far as screws, I put 2 screws into every board along the edge there. Keep it a little ways away, basically in the middle of the 1-by that's running there. And then same thing here along the middle and along the edge. And then where that diagonal piece runs, I put, a line of them right along here. You can kind of put 2 in each board there on the diagonal. And that's about that. So we'll let that dry, and then I'll be able to put the hinges on there and take it down to the shed and put the doors on. So here's the finished project. I think it turned out pretty nice. Give you a close-up look here. I'll put a link on the description if I can remember to do that for the hardware that I use, the hinges. And there's a nice locking handle here. So the handle just has this thing here that rotates and catches behind this lip. Notice we got room for that lip to stick behind here. So I allowed 1 inch. That lip sticks out 1 inch, and then I allowed about 1/8 of an inch on each side and around the top, just for a little bit of, so it doesn't fit too tight. And included in the hardware kit are these latches here, which I fastened there and then just drilled, a hole in there, top and bottom. Anyway, that's it. And so I just want to do something a little nicer than a piece of plywood with some boards on the back. And I think we accomplished that.